What up, everybody? My name is Alex. You have been watching the ZX Show. This is season 2, episode 4 of the ZX Show, and we have been going through a lot of guests this week. I am super tired. Let me tell you, I'm just super tired. Going back and forth, talking to people. But listen, that's what I'm not tired of. I'm tired of just getting up in the morning, man. I'm just tired of getting up in the morning every day. But we always gotta grind. We always gotta, strive for our dream and really work on our dream. And a lot of it that we've been seeing on the show has been people doing that. Working on a dream, trying to accomplish a dream. And a lot of them had some hiccups, a lot of them had some step backs, and a lot of them had a free trip, basically. But a lot of them, suffered similar things, right? And this episode, what I like to say before we get to our guests is love people. Love your neighbor, love your brother, love your sister, love your mother, love your father. If you're having a tough relationship with your mother, if you're having a tough relationship with your father, if you're having a tough relationship with anybody, try to love them. I have people that I don't talk to no more. I have people that done some bad things to me, but I, still love them. At the end of the day, I still love them. At the end of the day, I wish them well, rather this in their careers, rather if it's in their jobs, right. Rather if it's, the mother's sick or something, I wish the best for them. So this message for the beginning of the episode is just love somebody. Know that you are loved, watching this episode. Know that you're loved from us, the ZX Show, people that worked on the ZX Show, the crew, everybody knows that, we love you. With that being said, thank you guys for watching episode 4. And today we have a wonderful guest. This guest, I always give a little message to every guest. With this guest right here, I mean, man, what a tough woman, what a tough individual, what a tough, strong person, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Every time we see her, she's like the mother of the IMS. We always see her, give her a hug. She makes us feel better. She's just missing the cookies. That's all she's missing, just the cookies. Without further ado, I have Glennetta Bell with us.
Hey, you all. My name is Glennetta, and I'm just grateful today. I woke up with so much gratitude in my heart because this has always been where I wanted to be, in the media. And for God to not, in his timing for it to happen, I'm just like, whoa. Like God is real,
right.
So I'm happy to be here today. Shout out to my son, Breon. Yeah,
there you go. Breon was on the show. Breon's episode's coming very soon. Breon, man, what a wonderful kid. I mean, he spoke about, his mental health, his journey, and everything else, and it was a great episode. He had us crying in the studio. I mean, he had a wonderful story, and so when I saw his story, and then I was thinking about it, I'm like, Glennetta is his mother, right? And that's where that's where I'm like, No, but that relationship I've never seen before, like a mother and their son in the same school, working, studying together, in the same process of doing the same dream. How does that feel for your son and you to be somewhat in a similar path, being in the school and doing kind of the same thing?
Breon and I were best friends.
Mm-hmm.
He was my first. I was 29 when I had my first child. And when I went through the divorce, or when I started going through the separation of the divorce, I went left. And I just completely devastated him. This was a kid who was with his father, and his father gave him back to me. And Breon went from low grades to A's and B's. And he just cherished me in every way possible. And I can remember one day I was going out to obtain some drugs, and he goes, "Mom, you mean to tell me you're going to leave me standing here and go get drugs?" And I couldn't say nothing. Although he was at home, I was like, "I'll be right back." And I never came back that day. And I just blew him away. And so he went and got his own apartment and he stayed on his own for 7 years.
Mm.
And then the destruction came. And he called me and he asked me, he was like, Mom, like, I understand now I can't flourish nowhere but around you. And I'm asking you if I could come home. And I let him come home. And, you know, Breon has always been the child that brings me so much pleasure. You know, he has little things that he's a little lazy with, like his room and stuff like that. But he's gotten better with it. But as far as what he will and what he won't do, what he will get involved in and what he won't, I have no question about that because I know that child that way. Now, you know, he went through a little crisis here. He was working and he decided to take his friend's suggestion and go to Wisconsin and work with them. And he wound up getting arrested twice. He got out one day and went back the same day. But I've had the opportunity in my head to review the facts of his case, and they just don't have a case. You know, I was in school to be a lawyer, and I got so turned off about it, but I still obtained those qualities that I learned in law school, you know.
Right.
And I just don't see them having no case. So we're working on that, and the relationship is getting so much better. Like, it comes unexpectedly to me. It don't come in my time. Because if it was left up to me, it would have been the way that I wanted it 4 or 5 years ago.
Right.
You know, but he's lived with me for the last 4 years. And it's just gotten better. Like, I see him doing things intentionally to make sure that I'm happy, not his brothers and sisters. So.
And that relationship, you know, like he spoke about it, and what I noticed and it surprised me was that both of you know the situation and are honest about that situation. I think a lot of people would be like, oh, that's family shame, let's hide that. But the beautiful thing about it was when you guys told both and spoke your stories, it's almost like the roles that threw out into the concrete, you know, that final ending point where, you know, you and your son are now having this relationship now. Like, but bring us back, you know, like you at the time, I know it was a struggle for you, but you know, bring us back before that. You know, who was Glennetta, you know,
so
back then?
When I got pregnant with my children, you know, like I said, I was 29 and I was used to doing what I wanted to do, going where I wanted to go. And the day I had Breon, it was like a freeze on me. Like, I was just literally frozen. Like, I didn't know what to do because my age and what I, you know.
Yeah.
And so I took him home to my husband, to his father, and I left. And I was just so scared. I wasn't scared because of the child. I was scared because of the upbringing that I had. And I did not want to raise my son under that guidance.
Right.
But I didn't know anything different. And so I got pregnant again, and that child was taken from me through the state of Illinois. And he's back in my life. Shout out to you, Brenton. I love you. But when they took Brenton from me, it destroyed me. So it was like, it took me maybe a year to get it together. And then Breon was given back to me. So, no. It took me several years because I had my daughter, my son, and my son. And Breon wasn't returned to me until the birth of my son.
Wow. Your last son.
My last son.
Wow. And so now that relationship with you and Breon, like, I know you spoke a little bit about it before, but, you know, like, being that young of a mother, and then raising the kid, and then you being frozen, like a lot of people feel like that. A lot of people may not understand, and some people don't understand about that feeling. Some
Right.
people were like, I had a child, I'm good, da da da. But some, it's like it's a world change.
And I think it was more for me because neither one of my parents were really in my life. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't meet my father till I was 34.
Wow.
Never seen him, didn't know what he looked like, nothing.
Was
And
there a
he,
picture, or like did you?
nothing. I never saw nothing. And
Wow.
he was married. His mother was married to my grandfather. How does that happen? How do I not know who this lady
Yeah.
is? But those were part of the secrets. Like, my family has so many secrets up under this carpet.
Mm.
And I just was not going to raise my kids like that.
Yeah.
I was not going to raise my kids lying. And, there's just so much. There's incest in our family. There's a lot of there's drug addiction. There's all type of terrible characteristics in our family that I just couldn't see from my children.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if it just rained off of me onto them, I'd have rather been away from them. So that's why when I was going through my things with drugs, I wasn't around my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't want no parts of that to be a part of them.
And I could respect that too, because I think that I think a parent that is dealing with his struggles with his children affects them more because they're seeing it. And in that way, if they're seeing it, they're going to be like, okay, my mother's not my mother.
Right.
My mother's something else.
Right.
My father's not my father. My father's an alcoholic, right?
Right.
My grandpa is this, my grandma's that, and part of it, I feel like, that was the selfless part of you that was like, okay, I know I have this going on, but I love my children to the point where I cannot, see them, exactly, have them see them. And also just like the fact that, and I really like empathize with most people in your generation, because most of you guys haven't had that conversation to be like, how are you feeling? Right. Like, hey, this is going on, is everything okay? And another part of it is like, parents are different. You guys come from a generation where it was hard. Where you was very hard.
You didn't have a voice.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I always gave my kids. And to me, it worked, but it didn't work, was a voice. Like, I was always telling them, well, first of all, I taught them, if somebody touched you down there, I don't care who it is. Your sister, your cousin, whoever it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's a wrong spot.
Yeah.
You need to let me know.
Mm-hmm.
And it did happen with my son, but it was just very imperative to me raising my kids, because I did not have that sound relationship with my mother, and I was the only girl.
Wow.
I had one brother, and he died from cancer in 2007.
I'm sorry.
So I felt like I should have a rock solid relationship with my mom, because I didn't have any outside sources to intervene with that. And it just was not that way, and it is not that way to this day. She doesn't like kids. She's never liked kids, and I don't understand why she had us, but I'm grateful for my life.
Mm-hmm.
I love my kids. And, she moved off to Texas, and she thought I was going to go with her, and I'm not going with you. I'm not. Why would I go with you to a different state? I've done that before. We were in California. Like, no, you get one time with me and it's over. And she calls and she asked me for money, the money that I owe her, which is $1,000. She gifted it to me. Mm-hmm. And now she's going through a thing where, no, she wants her money back. So I'm going to give her her money back this month. But back to my kids, like, they mean everything to me. Even now, where they're wilding out, they're doing their own thing, they're going separate ways.
Yeah.
You know, but Breon is right there with me. You know, he found his purpose. And I knew that. I knew that the day that I walked in here to sign up, God told me to bring Breon. But there was still that doubt and the misconceptions going on in my head. And then one day he called me and he was like, Mom, where are you at? And I'm like, I'm at school. Why? And he was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, no, come up here. And he came up here. And from the moment he walked in that door, he was like, I'm home. This is where I'm supposed to be. And he signed up that day.
Yeah.
And he stayed around and he watched and he was like, I don't want to be here if I can't touch nothing. You know?
Oh, he's such a he's over here helping with the show and everything. He's like, let me help him down. I'm like, all right, you do your thing, bro.
So, you know, I let him, you know, there's still ways where I need to let him be free and be who he is, to discover who he is. And believe it or not, God tells me what to do with each one of my kids. Like, that is my foundation. I love God more than I love my kids.
Yeah.
You know,
Amen.
I sing in the choir, you know, I go to Bible study, I go to church. And it helps me to deal with me and not look at what circumstances are in front of me because I trust God.
Yeah.
You know, and
trusting God is like it's one of those things where it's a pillar. You know, it's a pillar where it doesn't move, it doesn't shake, it doesn't tilt, it doesn't nothing. So it's one pillar. And I think that's something that, you know, I was gonna ask you earlier was that, you know, going through all this, you know, the drug addiction, your family, your mother, your kids, it's nice to know that you found God in all this. You know, some people, you know, when they're in these situations, they don't know where to go. They fall into more addictions. They fall into more habits. They fall into more of the wrong people. The fact that you were like, you know what, I got to change my life. I know what I have. I know the kids that I have. I know how special each and every one of them are. Let me get right with God. Let me, you know, take away the drugs and let me be clean.
And, you know, that was my thought. And I thought that as long as I did that, my kids would come back to me collectively and we would have that bond again, because the bond that I had with my 5 children, my entire family was jealous. And they would, you know, say and do things and put curses and all kind of stuff. And I would just flip out. Like, don't put that on my kid. Don't say that. Don't, you know, I was just real upfront with them about what you weren't going to do with these 5, you know. But,
these are my 5.
These are my 5. This is my tribe. Don't get in this space, you know. And it's sad that my family based it all like I lived in Naperville. I raised them in Naperville. They graduated from high school in Naperville. Nice. I lived in an expensive home. I had 6 cars in the driveway. You know, so they based everything that my kids had off of what I gave them. But they didn't know the greatest thing I gave them was my love.
Yeah.
You know, when you walked in our house, there was a sign. This house is built on love. That was the number one thing for me. And although I didn't allow my children to spend night at other people's house, every kid in the neighborhood was at my house every single day.
You had 12 kids.
Yeah. And, you know, their parents would bring them over and they would, every last one of them would pull me to the side and say, can I ask you a question? What is it about this house that my child never wants to go home? I've never experienced this. And I would walk them over to the side and say, This house is built on love.
Hmm. And I definitely feel that. Like anytime we walk past you, and I'm gonna testify for everyone. Like we feel the love. We feel love. We get the 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 grandma hug. The little you squeeze it tight. I'll be like okay. But we always felt that, and I think that's wonderful that you're building this foundation for your kids to have love and to build this house on love. um, now that you're getting your children back in your life or have got your children back in your life, how does that love change now that you have them? And even like your love with Breon, I think that's something that hits you because my mom, I'm her first, right? I'm her first and everything. And my mom's relationship is different than my sister's, right? My mom and I have this relationship where she tells me all the time, I'm sorry. But I told her, no, and I spoke about this. My mom was 15 when she had me. My mom was 15. My grandpa didn't like that she was 15 and had a kid. And, I wasn't supposed to, be here.
Right.
But my mom thug it out. So by the time I was 5, my mom was 20. You know what I mean? Like by the time, yeah. And I never looked at it that way. My mom was, by the time my age, I was already 6. And she always took care of me, always did her best to give us that life. And so when I hear about mothers and their firstborns, I can relate because me and my mom, we had our ups and downs, but me and my mom's relationship is way different. The love is way different. Way different.
Yeah. Like, I know my kids love me. There's no doubt in my mind that they love me. But they have been contaminated by different. They were in 2 households, and the makeup of the household, the worst one being my mother. Like, she deliberately got up every morning and talked about me like I was nothing. And one day my son got up when she was talking and he walked in and he says, listen, hang the phone up.
Mm.
And he said to her, he says, I'm not listening to you talk about my mom another day like you've been talking about her for months. He said, you don't know what she doing. You don't know where she at. You don't know what's in her spirit. You don't know if she's suicidal. Like it's just a lot of things that you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But you telling your side of the story. But how can your side of the story be valid when you wasn't even in? You ain't been in her life.
Exactly.
Like this makes no sense. And so he said that my mom stopped, and she started asking him, "Have you talked to your mom? Have you heard from your mom?" And he said that he would tell her no. And so after a while of that happening, he was disgusted. Like she went from one extreme to the next, and there was just no letting go of it. Now, if that was her way of hurting or missing me or whatever, it was a terrible way to show it.
Yeah.
And eventually he moved out. She put my son out, and they went to live with Breon periodically. Very, very short time. For one son, and the other son stayed until Breon, had the fire at his place. But Breon has always been that child that, for whatever reason, I just didn't feel I had to worry about him. But now with knowing that he does have mental health problems, I worry about him. I'm concerned about him. I need to hear his voice to know that he's okay.
Right.
And it'll take some time. I'll know within myself that, okay, my son is okay.
Yeah.
But the more that I see him walk through that door and participate in this schooling, I become okay with not talking to him every day. He has such a strong makeup about himself. And he loves very deep, like me.
Yeah.
I can relate to everything that he goes through because that's me, you know. But this school has lightened my load. It's lightened my worry. It's lightened him being okay.
He has friends, and I think that's the beautiful thing about it is that, you know, even us testifying, you know, these guys are back here. You know, when we hang out with Breon, we're always cracking up. We're always laughing. We're always, you know, and when we don't hear him, we're concerned.
Yeah.
You know, we don't like the other day he wasn't here and he came in here.
Yeah, that's why I went around. I went around telling everybody, hey, Breon, you know, because if people worry like me, I don't want that. I don't want you to worry when things are okay.
Yeah.
And things were okay. He had to go for his
job. Yeah.
So I went around and I let people know Breon's okay. He had to go for his interview and left it at that. Because I did my part.
Yeah. And I think the beautiful thing about it is that you're seeing that, you know, your relationship with your son, everyone else is having that relationship too. Yeah. And that's helping you being like, you know what? I made the right choice.
Yes.
I went through it, everything, not knowing that my son's here and having a good time and knowing that I'm here having a good time.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that puts you all in a good cloud of nine, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Like we talk, you know, he asked me, like, for instance, he came to me and he was like, Mom, I know I don't have no money and I know I'm not helping you with anything. And I'm just wondering, should I go get a job? And I said to him, I said, Breon, you got to pray about it. I said, I can't tell you what to do. You're 28 years old.
Yeah.
And so I thought about it and I was like, well, just wait for an internship, you know. And then he came to me and he was like, Mom, Chipotle called me for an interview and it's part-time. Did God tell you? Did you pray about it? If you did, take it. And so he went. I took him. You know, we left school here and we went and did his paperwork and he sat there for 4 hours. But just knowing that he is in a better place is like my foundation. Because I feel like this. He's the oldest, right?
Yeah.
When he get in line, everybody behind him gonna get in line. You know, but he has to take his right stance as the oldest. Breonna's not comfortable with telling my other kids, don't talk to my mama like that. Don't treat my mama like that. Don't come in this house with that. You know, and now he's getting more. He's having more of a voice. Yeah. You know, he was the laid back in the cut person, didn't say anything, but now, like, he understands that I have to stand up for the people that stand up for me. Yeah. And I might not stand up for you when you fighting your siblings because I never had a fight with my brother. Yeah. So I don't understand that. And I feel like if I step out of that and I let them solve it, it'll be a better ground. Just don't break nothing in my house. Don't tear up nothing in my house. Don't do none of that. I'm not having that no more. Like, I fixed enough walls and replaced doors, and I'm not doing that.
Trips to Home Depot.
Right. I had enough trips to Home Depot. But, yeah, he, you know, long as he takes his stance in its totality, everything will work out. Like, I see me and my kids, well, I see us going on vacations again because every 6 months I took them on a vacation.
Nice.
You know, The last one that we went, and we didn't go as a family. It was me, my mom, and my 2 youngest sons, and we went to Hawaii, and we stayed there for a week, and it was a disaster. The first 3 days were fine, and the last 4 days, the tornado came. So they took everything off the out of the hotels, the lawn furniture. They took everything, and we were just stuck in this room for 4 days. Yeah. So
how was that like?
Yeah, oh my God.
You got your mom, you got your kids.
I got my kids.
You're like, damn it.
But like the first 3 days, my one son, that kid is something else. And I had just, come out of my bout with cocaine at that time. So Bayside got on the bike and drove down to the hood of Hawaii. And it
was also Moses and hey, but don't do that. Where you from?
And he came back and he was like, Mom,
these big ass Samoans.
He goes, these are some kind of crackheads over here. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? And he was like, Mom, they go like,
It's a Hawaii shit. It's a Hawaii.
And I was like, Basil, what are you doing down there? He was like, Mom, I rode this whole island. And I was like, okay, you gonna learn. You can't go everywhere. He was like, no, I was good.
I didn't even know they had a hood in Hawaii.
They do. And I was just like, wow, this kid is something. But like the first 3 days of being in Hawaii, like I really wanted to live there. I wanted to pack my things and go move to Hawaii.
A lot of us do.
But when I saw them tornadoes and how they shut the city down, I was like, nope, I'm good.
I'll stay in the city. The south side is good enough. The south side is good enough. West side, we good. Right. We got all the national. We got everybody in front. Right. We good.
Can't do that one. But
oh my God.
Yeah, so
I can imagine us having a tornado, man. Just imagine like the west side, south side, everybody here is having a tornado. Oh my God. So imagine being stuck at a Harrow's. What? I'm me. I'm gonna be like, I'm staying here for 4 days. I'm gonna let you know right now. I'm staying here for 4 days. I'm sorry. Oh my God. All the food you need, exactly. Oh my God. Oh my God, Glennetta. Well, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much for, having this conversation with us. I think one of the things I noticed about you and both Brianna is that we all get this warm feeling in the room. We all like, we cry with you guys, we laugh with you guys, we all smile with each other, and I feel the love. I definitely feel the love.
Well, thank you.
And thank you so much for being on the show, your time, and I know all mothers are busy, so I know they all like work on a 24/7 clock and, but, I one last question I wanted to ask you was, this trip of being a mother, what was one of your moments where you saw your family, could be, in sync? You know what I mean? Was there any time where you saw everyone in sync and you were like,
yeah,
I'm gonna cherish this for my life? Do you have?
Yes, I do. So it was Mother's Day 2022. Bayvon, which is the baby, had his own apartment, and all my kids came. Oh. And my grandbaby. And they took me out to dinner downtown Chicago. Well, we went to his house. I cooked dinner that night. And then the next night was Mother's Day. And they took me out to dinner. And that was my first time eating salmon. And the salmon was so good. I can't even remember the name of the restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
but it was downtown Chicago, and our bill was like $400 and something.
Mm.
But seeing all my kids together in one room, I had so much joy because I could see me in each one of those kids. I could see the togetherness that they desire to have with me. But most of all, I could feel the love.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Even though they had words the day before it went, and they still all came together. And that's what I'm trying to teach them today. You guys are all different people. It's 5 of you. It was only 2, me and my brother, but it's 5 of you. You all are going to have disagreements. You might have a squabble. You might not speak to each other for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
That's normal.
Right.
But know that that's your family. That's your immediate family.
Yeah.
And nothing on earth comes before that.
Yeah.
And that's what I teach them. That's what I hold on to. It wasn't taught to me. It was given to me by God.
Amen.
My mother didn't teach me nothing about other than taking care of him. But there's so much more that comes with taking care of a person.
Yeah.
Communication, love, knowing when to step back, knowing when to step forward.
Mm-hmm.
And those are just a few of the things that comes with that person gets sick. There is a lot. When you say that you love somebody, that means you love them with all of you until you see that they don't love you back. Mm-hmm. You continue to love them, but you step back.
Yeah.
So that you're not the person that's being hurt.
Exactly. No, well, Glennetta, thank you so much for being on the show. And just like I asked everyone else, what advice or even a word for your kids, what would you like to share to everyone in the world that are watching, people that probably know you, maybe your sons are watching, anybody that may know you. But first off, what's your advice on mental health, and even mothers start dealing with that, right? And then lastly, just a message for your family.
Okay. Mental health, like I have went through therapy. I've seen a psychiatrist. I have tried to solicit my kids to go to family counseling, and they wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
But here's what I told them. If you want to stay stuck in what happened 4 years ago, 10 years ago, you stay standing right there.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to keep walking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward. I'm not looking back.
Yeah.
I know the mistakes that I've made in my past, and you don't have to worry about them in my future.
Yeah.
Now you can take my hand and we can walk together collectively as a family, or I can walk alone.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at with that. The mental health counseling helped me. It helped me understand some things. It helped me take responsibility for that part that I played. And it also helped me see that I didn't own responsibility for the things that happened to me when I was a child.
Yeah.
And then, like, for my family, Brenton, Brianna, Bason, Bavon, Sakari, and my baby girl. I love you all more than you even can imagine. I love you all so much. And I just pray that somewhere inside of you, you will find that you won't meet your goals in life without your family. There's obstacles out there that you all can toss to each other and find better ways to deal with it. But most importantly, holding grudges against your sibling is not of God. It's not human. And you guys need to get a grip and come together and unite and figure out the power that lies in unity as opposed to division.
Amen. Amen. I love that. Thank you guys all for watching the ZX show. This has been Glennetta. She's been awesome. Let's get a round of applause for Glennetta, man. She's been awesome here at the ZX show. Wonderful, wonderful guests. And we're going to keep having wonderful guests. This is just episode 4. We have a lot more coming through. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you tune in next week because we have a lot of other interesting people that are going to be just interviewed as well. Thank you guys for always watching. Thank you guys for blowing up social media, commenting, liking, everything else. We're going to keep putting people on the map, putting these students on the map. My message to you guys is love somebody. Like I said, love somebody. Love your dad, love your mom, love your siblings, love your friends. You know, tell your friend right now, hey, I love you, bro. Thank you for always checking up on me. Thank you for being a wonderful friend. You know, anything like that. You have been watching the ZX show. This has been episode 4. Thank you guys for watching. See you. Bye.
Stay tuned.